Welcome everyone to our virtual Expo Prep and Employer panel. My name is Krista Nisbet-White. I am a member of the Career Development Center team. We have a few people still joining us, so we'll just have people kind of hopping on as we go. But this event tonight, the virtual Career Expo Prep and Employer panel, as the title suggests, has two pieces. So we're going to start out with the virtual Expo Prep, where we have three resident experts here from our student team in the Career Development Center. So Millie Wallace, Danielle Tadika, and Naya Malone are going to lead us through some tips and tricks to help you be successful in the Virtual Career Expo coming up on Thursday. So I'm going to turn it over to Millie, who is going to start us off in our prep portion of the event. So Millie, take it away.
Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. It's such a nice day out. And let's get started. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Okay. So again, hi, everybody. My name is Millie. I am a career peer mentor here at the Career Development Center, and I'm also a student here at UIS. And so what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today are elevator pitch tips. And if you don't know what an elevator pitch is, essentially it's just like a little effective short spiel that markets yourself to employers, and especially in situations where you don't have a lot of time. So for example, like an elevator or store, airport, or wink, wink, a career expo event. And so not only does this capture the employer's eye, but it also tells them exactly what they need to know about you in a short amount of time. So say, for instance, you're at the grocery store on a regular Saturday and you're doing your regular shopping and stuff, and all of a sudden you run into what looks like a manager at this organization that you've been trying to get an internship at for months, right? And so of course you go up to this person and you guys exchange highs and hellos, and then all of a sudden it turns like this informal interview, and then you freeze. You don't know what to say. You don't know what's too much. You don't know what's too little. And that's where this elevator pitch tip can come in. And so the National Association for College and Employers outlines this elevator pitch in three short, simple steps, where the first sentence covers the present. And so this is when you talk about like, hey, I'm a junior at University of Illinois at Springfield studying psychology. In my spare time, I volunteer in whatever, organization. The next sentence offers a glimpse at the student's experience. So this is where you mark it like, hey, like, what's my work experience? What did I do last summer? What internship did I do? And this is where you go to, I did this internship with SIU Medicine where I worked on patient data analysis and stuff. And the third sentence gives a view of the student's future. So this is where you mark it whether or not you're looking for a full-time position, part-time position, fellowship, internship, scholarship at whatever. And you also want to make sure that you mention where you want to use your skills. And something that's super important to remember is that your elevator pitch is no good if you don't remember it. And so I would highly suggest just practicing it whenever, when you're at career fairs, interviews, networking events like the Expo, or just with friends, just to practice it up. And the more you practice it, I will say the first time you may be a little bit rough at first, but I guarantee that you get more comfortable with time. And so this goes into my next point of like being confident, whether or not this is via chat or like, virtual or in person, you want to make sure that you have a lot of enthusiasm and just a nice, compassionate attitude or vibe to get the employer's attention. And now that things are going virtual, you may have to do some of this via chat or Zoom. And so it's even more important and crucial to have your spiel short and clear and to the point, which can still be achieved using like these 3 points that I outlined here. And also something that I want to note to you guys is make sure that you know something about yourself in this, and also make sure that you know more things about the organization. So do research on the organization, because I can guarantee you that many employers love it when you come to them knowing so much about their organization, or at least come with questions and things. And also if you find yourself having an informal interview, whether that be through chat or through Zoom, you want to make sure that you write a thank you note or some sort of follow-up because employers do like that and they will remember that as well. And so now I want to jump into what to do before the event. And so what you want to make sure you do is update your profile, have your resume tailored and whatnot. You want to make sure you practice your introduction, whether or not that would be the elevator pitch tips or your own introduction. Again, you want to make sure that you research the organization and express general interests. You want to review available jobs on the job board, prepare questions for the organization, view organization chat schedules to make sure you're matching up and meeting with the people who you want to meet with, and also make sure to check your messages to make sure that you're getting the appropriate emails and whatnot for these organizations and whatnot. And so that is my spiel on elevator pitches, and I'm going to pass it over to Daniela. Thank you guys for listening.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniela and I am a student worker at the Career Development Center. And I will be just showing you how to use the Career Echo website, especially now. For the first time ever, we have this event being virtual. I'll just share my screen. All right, this is the Career Echo website, and you will need to find it on, if you want easier access to find it, you will need to go through our website, which is uis.edu/career, or you can just go to careerecho.com. This is what it looks like. If you have not registered yet, you can do it here. You need to update your profile, as Millie said. It's basically small information about you. And then you will be a job seeker. So you would come here. If you're looking for something specific, whether it is a part-time job or internship, or if you want to select major, like a lot different things, you can just do it through here. So it shortens your research, of course. So for example, I am a communication major, so I will type communication and the different positions. If I'm looking for a part-time, which will be during the summer, and internship, then this is what would come down here for as a result. I'm sorry. And then you have different employers here. You can click to one and see what they're looking for, see who they are. It is really important to know who you're looking for, of course. And that'll be it. And then we have the chat, you have the chat schedule, of course. So these tell you when during the event, these different organizations will be available. And you can actually put it on your calendar here. So it really helps you be organized for the event. You can talk to different organizations during different times. It is really up to you. And
Daniela, can you show one more time how you were able to search by your major to see employers? There was a question in the chat about being able to search by major.
yes, no problem. So when you go to the registration, you would select major. For example, I'm a communication major, so I would do communications. And if I'm just looking for something that is available only during the summer, then I would just click summer. And let's say I want a full-time job, then I would do it. And since I'm a junior, I could also do internship if I want to. There are different locations that you could choose, but I'm really not doing that. Personally, I would just rather do for my major and what I'm looking for as far as like when they would be available. So it automatically comes here down to the employer side. And then you have different ones, so it's easier for me to see who's hiring based on my major. And then you have different chat schedule for them also that I can choose to add to my calendar so that on the day of, I am reminded of it. But if you're not choosing to do that, or you're just looking, then you could just see the list of all the employers that will be attending the event. I think that will be all. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can just write it down in the chat and I will make sure I answer it. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniela. And now we'll turn it over to Naya, who's just going to share a couple of tips about following up after the event.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to share what you should do after the event. If you interacted with any organizations or employers, afterwards is a great time to follow up with them, maybe send them a message or email them or even call their company, maybe arrange further interviews or further communication. You're also able to see the organization profiles and job postings after the event. So if you missed the event or you didn't get to talk to every employer that you wanted to talk to, you're able to still see their profiles and still see what jobs they're looking for. So that's a good idea to do if you're not able to make the event or if you didn't get a chance to talk to everyone. You should also upload your resume or any other documents to your profile because organizations can view those documents and contact you if you fit what they're looking for. So I recommend to upload any experience you have or just upload your resume. And also afterwards, after the event, you can also get in contact with our office if you have any questions. You can call us at 217-206-6508 or email us at careerservices@uis.edu. Thank you. That's all I have for my part.
All right, well, thank you so much, Millie, Daniela, and Naya. Before we make the shift into our employer panel, I just wanted to open it up one more time if there are any questions for the kind of prep pieces that Millie and Daniela and Naya just covered. So at this time, if you want to drop those questions in the chat, or if you do want to unmute and share a question, you're welcome to do that. So we'll take a moment for some questions about the prep pieces.
Hi, Kristen. This is Sam from MSF&W. Question about the capability of the Career Eco site. Are the employers able to interact with one another during the job fair? Say, for instance, somebody comes to Kurt and I, and we think, hey, you know what, this person's not a great fit for MSF&W, but I'd like to pass them off to such and such other company. Do I have the ability through the Career Eco interface to maybe interact with the other employers?
It's a really good question. I don't think that you do. I might have to look that up and follow up with you. We will, so our office, our team will have a chat space in the event as well. So if you do want to encourage a student to connect with us to kind of follow up with the organization, you can. So we're listed as the University of Illinois Springfield will be in that chat list. But as far as I know, I think that you'll be mainly just staffing on the employer side your chat space, and I don't know that you can access the other employer chat spaces. You could also choose to create a profile as a participant if you wanted to have that ability, and then you could see all those results and be able to hop in another employer's chat room as a participant. But it would mean that you have to have a second kind of email address that you're using that's not tied to your registration. But that's kind of the workaround that I'm thinking of just off the top of my head, but that's a good question.
Thanks, Kristen.
All right, any other questions about the prep pieces? I will say, I think all of our student staff did a great job with that overview. As multiple people mentioned, you do have the option to upload your resume in the site, and that will allow employers to see that. That can be a great way to follow up. However, it's not a requirement. So if you don't have a resume and that sounds a little intimidating at this point, you are still 100% welcome and encouraged to participate in the event. And we do have some great resources to help you with that if you're getting started with a resume. So we will drop some links in the chat to some great resources that our office has available. If you do have questions about resume, you'd like to connect with us about other things, and some of the tips here tonight that were brought up, we'll be sure to add those into the chat. So one more pause. Any other questions regarding preparing for the event right now? Okay, well, hearing none, again, questions can still be brought up throughout the event, but we'll go ahead and shift to our employer panel. So we are very, very fortunate to have representatives from multiple organizations with us tonight that are going to be participating in the Expo on Thursday. So we have representatives from Memorial Health System, MSF&W, NPR Illinois, Omniscope, Sparrows, ISBE, and Do It. And so I'm going to allow each of our employer panelists, if you can take a minute to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about about your organization, what you're recruiting for, and then we will launch it into Q&A. So students, be thinking about questions that you have that you want to ask a recruiter, get it straight from the source, and we'll start with those introductions. So why don't we start with you, Sam, since we just had a conversation. If you want to kick us off, why don't we start with you from MSF&W?
Sure. Thanks, Kristen. Yeah, again, this is Sam Gansey. I'm with MSF&W Consulting here in Springfield, and I've got Kurt Dudley with me here today. Kurt's another recruiter from our organization. We are a software consulting company here in Springfield. We've been in business since 1991. Right now, we have about 85 employees at our company. And typically at the job fair, we are looking for computer science and MIS grads. And with a particular focus, I would say, on those computer science graduates, people who want to have a career as computer programmers is really what we are looking for. And in particular, people who want to build custom software for a career or build database applications for a career. And that is, it tends to be, as I said, folks from the computer science and MIS academic tracks. We don't do a lot of internships as a company. We are more interested in hiring people into, permanent kind of career level positions. And as a company, we hire a few folks per year, fresh out of college, and bring them into our mentoring and training program and train them to be software developers. And we've had some success with that model here locally. We've hired several people from UIS over the years, and we have UIS graduates on our staff, myself included. And so we feel strongly about supporting the local university and hiring local and growing our own talent. So yeah, that's MSF&W. We are a company of software developers primarily, and we serve a lot of large organizations here in the local area.
Thank you, Sam. Kurt, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit as well?
Sure. As Sam said, my name is Kurt Dudley. I'm on the recruiting team here at MSF&W. I've been here for a couple of years now. And just to reiterate what Sam said, we are looking forward to meeting with hopefully some future grads. And, we specialize in design, development, and implementation of software applications to public and private sector, mainly here in Springfield, but other states as well. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody.
Thank you. How about we turn it over to Sarah Bricker from Memorial Health System, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Awesome. Thank you. So my name is Sarah Bricker, and I am the supervisor of nursing recruitment here at Memorial Health System. So in total, what we're looking for really is a multitude of different specialties for our 5 hospitals, as well as ambulatory settings and system resources group. So specifically what we would be looking for are nursing students, nursing assistants, medical laboratory science, surgical technology, radiologic technology, behavioral health, psychology. It's just a smattering of what we do offer. As a system, we do have a little over 10,000 colleagues throughout all of our affiliates. departments and areas all across central Illinois. So of course, most people do think of Memorial Medical Center here in Springfield, but we also do have hospitals in Lincoln, Taylorville, Jacksonville, and Decatur, as well as physician services clinics in each of those areas as well. So we are very interested in, of course, speaking with those students with the healthcare focus as far as their majors and areas of study, really those clinical bedside roles that we are looking for, but also too, we have our system resources group that does focus on the non-clinical, so more of the business side, so accounting, IS, and other different types of non-clinical roles. So we're very excited to be partnering with UAS and Lincoln Land on this event. So thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Sarah. How about Tejesh Morla from Omniscope?
Hi, Kristen. Thank you. As UIS alum, I always love to connect back with the students here at UIS, and I'm so happy to be virtually here. Hello, everyone. This is Tejesh Morla. I'm the Principal Technology Practice of Omniscope. I primarily take care of the customer success and overall company's technology practice in my current role. So at Omniscope, to be in simple terms, we help businesses who love cloud software solutions, but hate the process of choosing, implementing, and maintaining those solutions. So we do it with our great partnership with industry leaders like Salesforce.com and Oracle ERP. And for more than half a decade now, we supported several different teams to be successful with their sales, service, and marketing, HR, finance, and supply chain digital transformation initiatives. Some of the notable companies we worked recently is Pinterest, and among several others across different industries. At the core, our mission is to accelerate digital transformation by keeping people at the forefront of what we do, and doing it well by doing good for our communities. On that note, we donate almost 1% of our profits to people who are in need and organizations in need. And we are also a Salesforce.com Talent Alliance member, a pledge to build a diverse workforce. So we are looking to be more involved in our communities as we grow in the years to come. This is what I personally love in what we do, apart from the customer success and overall and digital transformation things that we do. So we have employees across US, and our customers are also based across US. But we are based in St. Louis. People are core of what we do, and from UIS Career Expo, and being a alumni, and I always love to hire from UIS. So we have currently like 2 positions open. One is the Salesforce.com developer position. Anyone who has experience in this space, you're welcome to apply. And if not, if you have any Java or .NET or any web development technology experience, you're more than welcome to chat with us. We're also hiring an intern training program. I mean, we had great success with that program from UIS. We hired a couple of students in 2019, and it was very successful. That's a paid intern training program. So anyone who is graduating and has a little bit of development experience, definitely stop by. So on March 4th, along with me and our team members will be there. So please feel free to say hello. We'll give away great resources to help jumpstart your career, which might help you land a job by the time you graduate, or anyone who already graduated, either with us or with any other company. Okay, and good luck, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Tejesh. Betty Chen from Sparrows, can you introduce yourself now, please?
Yes, hi, thanks for having me. Hi everyone, my name is Betty and I'm the Chief of Staff at Sparrows. We're a fully funded startup based out of Palo Alto, and we're a media company, and our mission is to empower people as well as companies to create a digital presence with personality, depth, and context. Our profiles complement most people's what you've done with who you are, so that people can get a full 360-degree view of you. So for this career fair, we're hiring people and we're open to all talents from all backgrounds and majors. And we're also hiring across multiple teams. So that includes our data team, marketing team, social media, SEO, and so on. So please send me a note. I'll be there with one of my colleagues who runs the growth marketing at Sparrows. So we're looking forward to meeting everyone. And we'll also be offering 15-minute offline Zoom sessions for any students that need resume and career tips. So feel free to drop me a note. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Betty. Joy Thibodeau from ISBE, would you like to introduce yourself next?
Hey everyone, I'm Joy Thibodeau. I am with the Illinois State Board of Education in Springfield. We do have an office also in Chicago. And the mission of, as we call it for short, ISBE, is to provide each and every child with safe and healthy learning conditions, great educators, and equitable opportunities by practicing data-informed stewardship of resources and policy development, all done in partnership with educators, families, and stakeholders. We are a little different than some of the other state agencies you might have applied for. If you have applied through the Central Management Services System, we do not go through that application process. It is separate. And we don't just hire educators. We have a finance department. We have a human resources, legal. Currently, we are looking for a data analyst for our property tax analysis department, and another entry-level position in our wellness department. So I look forward to talking with everyone, kind of giving you some tips and tricks on how to apply within the state system as well. So thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you for being here. And Arlene Heron from Do It, would you be able to introduce yourself now?
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so, okay, good. I'm Marlene with the Illinois Department of Innovation and Technology. I am the HR and Labor Relations Liaison for Do It employees that are stationed at Revenue. So we have some really great opportunities with Do It that are going to be posted here soon within like the next couple weeks, I think 2 to 3 weeks. 12 of those positions will be paid internship positions with an opportunity to promote within a year to an information service specialist. As Joy mentioned before, we do a different hiring, which is through the CMS, and that can be a little challenging because there's some nuances if you're new to applying for a state job that you got to kind of do beforehand. But if you have any questions on how to apply for a state job with going through CMS, I can definitely help with that. And then some other positions we'll be posting are some system analysts, a program manager, and a geographic information specialist position. So we're looking at like 20 positions in total. And most of them are computer science based, some data analysts, and then program managers. But we do hire a lot of different other stuff too. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arlene. Thank you for being here. And do we have a representative from NPR Illinois? Barbara, are you here? I don't know if I saw you on the list. Okay, well, Barbara might not have been able to join us tonight, but we still have a very dynamic group of employer panelists. So now, students, we turn it over to you. Do you have questions for our dynamic employer panel here tonight? You can feel free to unmute and share your question or drop it in the chat.
I have a quick question, I guess, to get us started. And any of the employers can answer this, but I just have a general question of like, what are the characteristics of like the employees that you're looking for, or like characteristics, soft skill qualification that you guys look for when you're seeking out future employees?
Does anyone want to kick that
Yeah,
off?
I can go. So right now we're looking mainly to hire interns, but also potentially full-time employees. So the qualities that we're looking for are probably, we care less about what skills or job experience that people have, but really the attitude that people have and just eager to learn more and get their feet dirty, and just willing to learn and come join us on our mission.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Kristen, I would add from MSF&W's perspective, we're always looking for people who have a sort of technical aptitude and a natural passion for technology. And that's hard to quantify, but I'm often at the job fair, I find myself discussing people's personal interests to find what they do when they have a day entirely to themselves. And the folks that tend to gravitate toward technology careers have a passion for programming or a passion for gaming or a passion for something related to technology that makes our field a natural fit for them. And that natural kind of interest is what we're looking for, that aptitude. And a close second would also be strong communication ability and a willingness to discuss and put yourself out there and to converse with us. Because if you can't converse and you can't explain who you are and what your skills are, it's very tough to forge that connection with an employer. So I think those are the two for us: technical aptitude and communication ability.
Thank you, Sam. And Julia, you had a hand raised. Did you want to unmute and ask your question?
Yes, thank you. I was just wondering, like, how through a resume or a cover letter, especially during virtual times, how to really, I don't know, how to best give a sense of yourself and personality and things like that. Because oftentimes I find it's difficult because I would like to, but I also find myself stuck in trying to be formal and keep to certain like structures and things like that, especially with a cover letter and resume. So.
So I can start and take this one. So what I look for typically from the resume is just a very clean, straightforward format with bullet points really telling us what you have done as an overview, as a highlight. And then in the interview is when we'll ask you those performance-based interviewing questions and give you that time to show us how you have critically thought out situations before and what you have achieved in the past. So I think the resume is great for getting the interview, but the interview is really one when you want to elaborate on, again, your personality and what you specifically can bring to the position.
I was also wondering if there's any common themes between like cover letters that you've seen or resumes that you've seen that have really made them stand out, things that have really been like apart from a really concise structure, like what are some things that immediately kind of catch your eye?
Probably I can add to that, Julia. So we recruit in technology. Most often we look for, resume can't speak. So we look for, definitely look for LinkedIn profiles because it's more public platform. So having LinkedIn profiles or even having some of the referrals there, even if you're a fresh graduate, having some references from your professor or or anyone from your undergrad professor or master's professor, anyone, or if you have picked up a internship at university. I know UIS has great GA and GPSI programs, so anyone from there. So definitely collect, references, and I think keep your LinkedIn updated with all the information that's relevant if you're out in the market looking for the job. Because I mean, most often we always look for that LinkedIn profile, even from the resume.
Thank you. We have a couple questions in the chat. So one from a student that is graduating, earning their certification or getting their social work degree and earning a certification in the Child Advocacy Studies program. So if anyone has any connection to that and would like to share some insight there. And also about what have students done to stand out to you in a virtual career expo or networking environment? Again, as we're navigating this interesting time, if there's things connected to that.
Mm-hmm. So I can take the social work question. So definitely at Memorial, we would consider folks with that background for our Memorial Behavioral Health affiliate. I do know that we have like therapist roles currently open and a variety of other behavioral health positions that you can apply to prior to graduation. And because you plan on getting your master's degree, that really makes you a really top candidate, in my opinion, for those positions. And I can go ahead and take the second question too. So what have students done to stand out? I think when you do your research on an organization and in that elevator pitch, you relate what you're looking for to the mission, vision, values of an organization, because it shows me as the employer that, oh, wow, you put time in and you are genuinely interested. You're not coming in blindly and waiting for me to sell you on the opportunity as well.
Other thoughts for that, or what's impressed you in a virtual environment or networking space?
Yeah, this is Kurt with MSF&W. I think a genuine interest in coming up to one of us and speaking to us. So that seems pretty simple for a career fair, but having the courage to do that can go a long way in itself. We're there to give advice and to talk to you about your future. So having a genuine interest and listening to what we have to say and asking questions and coming prepared, like she just said, like Sarah just said, is very important. And we definitely take note of things like that. So.
Yeah. And also just to add to that, I think personalization, right? I mean, as Sarah said, and Melly, all these elevator pitches and everything, you're trying to personalize. And, of course, there are hundreds of employers joining the virtual career fair, and you can't target everybody. Know your targets, right? I mean, if you're a computer science student, see which positions that you have in computer science, list down all those companies that you have. And if you are ending up too many bigger lists, cut down to 50% of it, see where your profile might excel, right? I mean, there are big companies, small companies, for me, if you're targeting me, if you're into Salesforce, I might, give you an interview and go for a second round or something. If somebody in the same space, maybe a Fortune 500 company, it may be, there may be a lot of competitors. So know your targets, right? Personalize and, research and personalize to a level, in the mission values, right? That's how you stand out, especially in the virtual environments, right? Send them a LinkedIn invite. In the connection, just don't send the connection, put some notes, put your research there, whatever research that you have done about the organization or about the common connection you have with the person. So I think that, those will, definitely help you out in standing out from the crowd.
Wonderful. We had another a good question from the chat. How has the pandemic impacted job prospects for 2020 grads, and what industry-wide trends do you see in 2021 for those graduating then? kind of the pandemic's impact on job prospects for soon to be or recent grads in your industry or that you've noticed?
I can comment on that, Kristen. Something we've seen is that our entire industry, and really probably most all industries, have leaned into technology platforms like this one tremendously. So becoming adept and comfortable with communicating in front of a camera and realizing that this may be the closest connection you get to an employer before getting a job offer. And so taking the simple things into account. How's my lighting? Can I be seen? Can I be heard? And maybe communicating a little bit slower, a little bit more deliberately, a little bit more, maybe even projecting your voice a little louder, because you don't have that added element of being in the room and sitting across the table from someone. And so being ready to embrace the technology platform and the remote format and communicate through some sort of video chat medium like this is the reality that we've all kind of had to embrace during the pandemic. And I will say, just from MSF&W's perspective, our client needs actually increased in 2020. We have a lot of projects with large organizations here in Springfield and Central Illinois that are pandemic related now, that it was actually our company's biggest year ever. So it doesn't necessarily mean that that job prospects are entirely dead because of the pandemic. There are opportunities out there. You might just have to be a little more creative and dig a little bit to find them.
Great, definitely good insights there. So another great question in the chat from my colleague Angela Evans that said, how relevant are applicant tracking systems to a student that is tailoring documents to keywords per job titles or internships in your organization or company? Thoughts on that?
I mean, I'll speak from the Memorial perspective in that, I mean, we review every single application that comes through, personally by human beings. So we don't exactly use like those knockout questions or keyword tracking for the resumes. We actually do view it. So I would say for us, and especially like hard to fill positions, we're still viewing every resume. However, those keywords in job titles should be just naturally baked into your resume, because we want to see that relevant experience that's going to make you a top candidate. So not sure exactly if that hit on what you were trying to get from the question, but that was my best guess.
I have some comments there too, Kristen. In any industry that you go into, there's going to be a vocabulary that is unique to that industry. And knowing what those words are is one of the ways you signal to that employer that you understand the language of that industry. And so for technology, the quote unquote buzzwords, it's critical that they appear on your resume. That's the way you end up in search results. And for the job boards that we use at MSF&W, that's how you end up in our search results. We do still go through and actually view the resume once it ends up in our search results. But if you haven't put the appropriate words on your resume, you won't end up in that search to begin with, or you may be very far down in terms of relevance. You might be the 100th resume in the list. So it's critical to understand what the important vocabulary is in the field that you want to go into, and to remember that, especially if you're a computer science student, those bold keywords that are in your textbook are there for a reason. Those are the words of the industry that people use to communicate with one another and know that we're all talking about the same thing. So it's agile methodology, and it's .NET, and it's SQL, and you know, the people in in IT, that's sort of that's the connection you make with an employer to signal to them that you know what these technology terms mean and that you have the appropriate experience and vocabulary to talk the talk.
Wonderful. Other thoughts on keywords or tailoring the resume? I wonder if I could pick on our state of Illinois folks, from Joy or Arlene, if you wanted to give a little insight in terms of the state of Illinois hiring process that might look a little bit different in terms of the application piece.
I was actually just getting ready to unmute and do that, Kristen. So great minds think alike. I would say from an Illinois State Board of Education perspective, we review, we screen all of our applicants. An individual does that. We don't have any kind of automated way of doing that. And we don't have leniency in our requirements. So, you know, when you see a required education or experience, you know, ability or whatever listed there, you have to possess that. And even, for example, if it says 5 years of customer service experience, if you only have 2, then you won't qualify. So you do have to meet all of the required qualifications that are listed in a job posting. So be sure to take note of that when you're looking at postings for us.
Great, thank you for those insights. Another great question, how long do you spend and what makes something stand out in reviewing a document to determine a recruiter's interest? So what stands out and how long do you spend when you're reviewing a resume?
I can speak from the public sector perspective, Kristen, on that. Again, kind of like just to reiterate, if we have a list of required qualifications, we'll review an application and resume we'll take those one at a time. So if you meet the first one, we'll continue to review for the second one. Some applications are reviewed for about you know, a minute or 2, and others are reviewed, you know, up to 10, 15 minutes.
Thank you for that. Any other responses to that question about the amount of time?
I would say, honestly, from our perspective, it's honestly industry standard for the healthcare careers that we're looking at is 7 seconds that a recruiter looks at the resume. Quite honestly, I wouldn't want to encourage my recruiters to spend any more of their time. If they're having to spend more time looking at that resume, that means they're trying to find something else that isn't there. The resume is not supposed to tell you the entire story. It's supposed to sell you to get you to the interview where you can ask those questions to determine the background of a person. So I would say just as clear and concise to the point as you can be to easily persuade that, boom, you meet the requirements, then we'll get you on to the next step.
And just to sort of add on to that question, because we get this question a lot, and typically we say, you know, 1 to 2 pages max for a resume and 2 pages only if it's really relevant, all relevant experience for that position. Just in terms of length, is that, would you all agree in general to kind of keep it short and concise?
So I can answer that question.
Go ahead.
And no, you're fine. And this is Arlene with the state of Illinois for Do It. And so, because we go through central management services for a state job, you typically, and I know this is different from the private sector, but you're going to want to put down all your experience, if you worked at McDonald's, or because that's customer service. Because when central management services goes through the application, they're going to take all that and grade that about your experience. So for state jobs, I would say write everything down. And sometimes certain resumes for the state can be like 22 pages long, which I know is different.
That's definitely a great point, though, to kind of illustrate that for sure. And the great questions keep coming. So we have some really good questions in the chat right now. But if you have more thoughts on LinkedIn, you want to pipe in with that. But I want to make sure we have time to voice these. So one, the questions: now that a lot of communication is virtual, what is the most efficient way to market yourself to employers if there's no career expo, no career workshop? Is reaching out through LinkedIn or hiring platforms like Indeed the best way to contact an organization or company? So I know that LinkedIn was mentioned before.
Yeah, LinkedIn is definitely one. Also, definitely leverage your network. I mean, have somebody refer you if you have a alum or a senior who's working in that company. And I believe even if you don't know somebody, there are platforms which will provide references. I forgot the one which does that. I think references will work great because, either Sarah's example, people are looking at 7 seconds to 1 or 2 minutes. And for them to look at your resume, you should either stand out on the top, maybe a certification or something, or a reference will work out. And definitely send out personalized LinkedIn connections to the recruiters. So that will help.
Thank you. Any other thoughts? Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. I had a comment to echo to Jesh that recruiters, maybe this is unique to the technology field, but references. We prefer to hire through a trusted source, right? Somebody we know and trust.
Oh, did sound cut out there for a second? Sam, can you still hear us? All right, we might need to come back to that thought, but networking, the reference, okay.
Yeah, and just to close out on that probably, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you're selling, right? I mean, I was there in a setup last week in a big conference on sales. So people buy, not your resume, not all that stuff. They buy your feelings. I mean, what the feeling that you're creating after the interview or through your approach, either through LinkedIn or, or through your resume. So, the better feeling that you create upfront, the better experience you create for them, I think the better possibility for you, to get you an interview. So.
All right, another great question from the chat what are the deal breakers or major reasons for declining regarding resumes or reviewing applicants or interviews? So any stories from the field of what not to do or what has been a deal breaker of things to avoid during this process?
Do not list your interest as another organization. I have seen so many resumes that their objective statement is to obtain a job at St. John's Hospital. And I mean, I'm sorry, but attention to detail right off the bat.
So mentioning a competitor's name on your resume or cover letter could be a bit of an issue. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
I would say that from our end, our perspective, a lot of the times our client is what we're trying to meet requirements for. So if your resume doesn't meet the requirements of what our client is asking for, there's really no way for someone that's submitting a resume to us to know that. But we rarely are looking to disqualify a resume. We're actually looking at it, trying to find where can we put you on our team. This kind of falls under the length of the resume thing. Put what you've done. And we're trying to qualify you and trying to get you on the phone and talk to you about your experience. We want to build our team with good people. And if you even come close to not putting the competitor's name on the cover letter or resume, then we want to talk to you and see if you would be a good fit for our team. So there's really not a whole lot you can do to disqualify it from our perspective. So yeah. And I wanted to say that Sam told me that his computer got the blue screen of death. So he is out of commission for the time being. So.
Oh no. Well, I have to say I'm a little comforted that even IT experts get that because that was partly why my video was off at the beginning of this. I was having some bandwidth issues, so I'm grateful to see you all. Okay, well, we just have a couple minutes left here. So any final questions that anyone wants to ask? And I know, Julia, you still have your hand raised. Did that mean you have another question that you wanted to share?
No, I'm just forgetful.
That's okay. Just wanted to make sure we got to everything. Were there any other final questions for our panelists?
This isn't a question, more just like a comment. I just want to say I really appreciate all the employers here today. I took very thorough notes. You guys have a lot of insight, a lot of things that are super helpful to the students here at UIS and just students in general. So I'm just extremely just happy to hear from all of you guys. This was super informative. So just thank you so much.
You're welcome and best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, I want to plug one more time that you can ask even more questions and connect to these wonderful panelists and even more organizations at the Career Expo on Thursday. So Thursday, March 4th. The Expo time range is 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., but individual employers may have different schedules within that time frame that they're available. So I encourage you to go to the Career Expo website and check that out. We are so grateful for you all to join us to spend some time with your afternoon. So thank you to our employer panelists. We appreciate you. Thank you for our employer panelists that are also part of Advantage Partner Organizations. We appreciate your support of the event. Thank you to our student team for amazing tips and questions and participation throughout this. And thank you to everyone that's here. So thank you for getting here. Students, make sure to share the word with your colleagues, your cohorts, and let them know about the event. This session is recorded and it should be popping up on our YouTube channel after this. So we'll make sure that link is available too. So if you want to go back and review any of the great insights that were shared today, you're welcome to do that, or you can share this recording with others. So thank you again. We will close the meeting here, but feel free to reach out to our office if you have any questions. Again, our email is careerservices@uis.edu. Our website is uis.edu/career, and our phone number is 217-206-6508. So thank you all so much. We appreciate you and have a great evening. Bye, everyone.